Guys, Charlie Kirk schools a woke college student. This girl is nuts. She's a whiny, woke, nutty, masked college student, and she gets an education today, a real one. And as you'll see, she can barely speak. Okay, here we go.
And I'm an African American Studies major. But one thing I do agree with that you haven't said tonight is the school choice thing. I do agree that you should be able to go to a school that's outside of your zip code. I went to a great high school. That's exactly why I was able to come here. But my other question is that what are some examples of critical race theory? Because I know like another question that another girl came, she said that she had to learn CRT in her sorority. And what I thought it was is that, you should know how to interact with people of other races, because I went to a school where it's mostly Caucasian people, and I had to learn how to interact with other people. So is it something like that, or is it something deeper that we don't really know?
No, it's super simple. So let me just kind of ask you, I bet we agree. Do you support Black only dormitories?
Well, when I think of Black only dormitories, I believe that you're talking about like maybe HBCUs, because it's mostly Black people.
No.
Where are these?
Western Washington University, public school in Washington, has Black only dormitories. Is that something you would support?
I mean, I would probably live in one, but I mean that.
Wait, so you don't want to live with white people?
I didn't say. I mean,
in this now one. All right, I'm gonna stop it right here. This girl is she's not all there. He asked her a simple question: do you support Black only dormitories? She can't answer it. She still hasn't answered it. And then when she said, well, I live there, he says, well, so you support it? Well, I didn't say that. Well, do you or don't you? I mean, it's ridiculous. All right, we're going to continue with it.
I didn't say that. But I mean, it's kind of hard. Sometimes, like, I have I have a lot of white friends or whatever, but sometimes, I mean, it's hard to fit in here. Well, when you go here and you're a different color. I mean, it's not hard to.
What would you support? White only dormitories?
It's some around here. Not many Black people go here,
So again, she's missing it. White only means Black people cannot attend. Black only means white people cannot attend, not just because you're at a school that you chose. You chose this school to go to. You are at a school where there are more white people than Black people. That's not white only. Ding dong. I'm going to continue.
It is white only if you think about it.
No, it's not.
It's not.
No, let me ask you another question.
I don't think anybody here would. Oh, well, some people might, support that. I mean, I never said I supported any only.
Then what do you support?
That's why I'm asking, right? I think that,
Do you support white only dormitories?
Absolutely not. I think it would be racist.
It's preposterous. I believe that.
And guess what? Black only dormitories are racist too.
I mean, I guess so. I might live in one if I could, but.
Okay, so this girl is really off. Pray for her, folks. Pray for her warriors, because she's first she says she might live in one. Then she says it's preposterous. Then when he says that he totally said no, I'm not for segregated dormitories. Then she says it's preposterous, and I mean it's ridiculous. All right, let me keep going here.
So.
Okay, well let me ask you another question.
But I can't. So.
Okay, well let me ask you another.
The
dormitories are racist too.
I mean, I guess so. I might live in one if I could, but
she said I might live in one if I could.
Okay, well let me ask you another question. At Columbia University, they have Black only graduation ceremonies. Would you support that?
I mean, is it just like, so are they not able to graduate with the white people? Is that why they can't?
Well, they have a separate ceremony just for Black people.
I mean, I guess it's kind of like the separate ceremony when they don't want to go to graduation. They want to do it online. That's how I think of it.
So do you think segregation is evil and wrong?
I mean, Black people weren't even able to join sororities here until 2012. So not the PhD one. So, segregation here. George Wallace stood in front of the doors.
That's not true. And like, there's...
Okay, when were PhD sororities and fraternities desegregated? 2013. Oh,
so you're trying to tell me that Black people were not able to join a fraternity?
Yes. Do you remember George Wallace too? Segregation now, segregation, you know, for all,
Yeah,
forever.
that's
That
what
happened as
you're.
well.
That's what you're espousing when you say that black only graduation ceremonies or dormitories.
Black only graduation ceremonies are the least of our problems, least of yours. Do you think that you'll be able to go to a HBCU and have this same turnout and have these same people? Let me tell you.
I would hope so, but
Yeah.
So what would you say to them?
but
What
here's
would
the
you
thing.
say?
I'm sorry, what?
What would you say to a room full of Black people about
You know
critical
what I would
race
say?
theory?
I'd say your skin color means nothing. You're made in the image of God.
You're right, but I completely agree. But I can tell you right now. I'm a Christian. I believe in God, but I have been going here for 3 years. I'm a junior.
All right, so let's just unpack here. So she has acknowledged that she is a Christian. She believes in God. Charlie Kirk has come out and explicitly said that he is against segregation, that he would tell a room full of whether it's white, black, orange, white, you're children of God, and he'd say the same thing to no matter who is in the room. But she has not said that. When he asked her, about did she think black only dormitories were okay, she was like, well, I would live in one, so she's kind of like teetering on this. Now, when he said that it was wrong, he totally came out against it. Then she said, oh, it's preposterous, but I would, think about living in one. And she's already said that she's a Christian. And so, the whole idea with this critical race theory, it's a modern approach to social change developed by Marxists. And it's basically approaches issues such as justice, racism, inequality with a specific intent of reforming or reshaping society. And again, I've talked about this before. They base this on your skin color. If you are white, you believe and you have done the sins of your ancestors. Black people are victims, and they are, they receive the victimhood of their ancestors. There's oppressed groups. These oppressed groups, generally groups of color, races of color, will never overcome disadvantages until the racist structures are replaced. These are all factors and guidelines, or assumptions, I should say, within critical race theory. It's entirely incompatible with the Bible. If you are a Christian, you should have nothing to do with critical race theory. Okay? Suggesting that whiteness, defined in a unique sense, is a type of sin and incompatible with salvation is wrong. It's wrong. We should meet everyone as they come. We should not have any type of preconceived notions behind or about someone based on their ethnicity, based on their skin color. All of this is totally wrong, and she should reject it. That's what she should do. She should reject it. But you can see here, she's kind of got that victim mentality. She does not have I would say a kingdom mentality, because kingdom mentality is a mentality of hope. It's a mentality of power through our Savior, Jesus Christ. So I don't hear that coming from her at all. And she is saying she's a Christian. I want to continue on with this.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I have most definitely faced racism and prejudice, no matter what I believe in, and it's just really hard to sit up here and listen to people come up here and say, "Oh, I don't want to learn CRT." It's just making you able to interact with other types of people.
That's not true.
No, it's not. So let me just tell you. So at the Georgia public schools in Atlanta, they put black sixth graders in one classroom and white sixth graders in another classroom. Is that evil?
I've never seen. Can you show me a video of those
Happy to.
kids?
Atlanta segregation of public schools.
Well,
It was
please
national
show me.
news.
Not to interrupt, but I have family members that go to schools in these areas, and I also have people who live in redlining districts,
Right, but I'm
where
just
they
asking,
can't go to.
Here
Do
she
you
go.
support
Here she go.
segregation?
No, I do not.
Okay, we agree. Therefore,
Okay.
black-only dormitories and black-only graduation ceremonies and putting sixth graders in one classroom based on skin color
I
or
don't
the
have
other.
any.
Those
source
are
of these.
those are outgrowths of CRT.
Right.
So learning. So okay. So give me an example of what critical race theory is. I don't.
So
That was my first
I'll be
question.
happy to tell you. So critical race theory is an emphasis at saying skin color matters, that the color of someone's skin is important in judging the value of the human being.
I
Right.
get that, but if you were teaching a class that is like that was talking about critical race theory, we were all sitting here.
Yes.
What would your lecture be? Like, tell me what are your points? Like, who is this author that you're reading?
Herbert
from about
Marcuse and
Okay.
an author by the last name of Spinoza wrote a book called One Dimensional Man in the 1960s. Herbert Marcuse came from the Frankfurt School in the 1930s, and he started this at Columbia University. Coming out of a Marxist belief of power dynamics,
Right.
he believed that power struggles were not just the rich versus the poor, but also black versus white. And he wanted to expand the kind of conversation to also engage racial dynamics. Inherent in critical race theory is a belief that people are not individuals, they're members of tribes. Inherent in the idea of critical race theory is that there is no free speech or reason or scientific inquiry. These are white supremacist, Eurocentric constructs that have been put into the Western world. And the one that I think that is most prevalent, CRT believes racism is everywhere, that racism is the norm, that racism is within our systems, it's in our language, it's in our customs, it's in our codes, it's in all these sorts of things. Now, that's a super quick version of what CRT is.
Absolutely.
So happy to dive into that more, but I think we don't have to overcomplicate it, which is, do you think people should be judged based on the color of their skin?
It's not that I think that, but it's that it's happening. And you cannot ignore that I might not be treated the same as him as he walks
You're
through the
right,
door.
it is happening. Like at Coca-Cola, they say they need to train their employees to abolish whiteness. At AT&T, they said they would need to train their employees to get rid of whiteness. We have a supply and demand issue with racism in our country. We have an incredibly low supply of racism and incredible demand to try to fulfill it. So
I like the way Charlie is breaking it down for her. I love it. And he was right. He went into the origins of critical race theory. I love it. One thing I would have maybe changed a little bit is I would have said to her, because she said, I don't believe that's the correct way to do it, but it's happening. Well, many things happen. Evil is in this world. We as believers, as children of God, know that evil is all around us. And so it's going to happen. It's not going anywhere. But she actually chose to go. We as Americans, we have multiple choices on where we can go if you choose to go to college. She chose to go to the University of Alabama, which is an all predominantly white school. I mean, if she has some type of bias or insecurities or issues, which it sounds like she has with white people, why wouldn't she go to an HBCU then? I don't understand that. Or somewhere where it's, if she really wants diversity of skin, go somewhere where, there is a lot more diversity of ethnicity and race, if that's where she wanted to go. But she didn't. She chose to go to the University of Alabama. So I'm a little confused there. But again, guys, this is not of God. Suggesting that people are essentially defined by their race or class rather than by their individual acts and attitudes. In the Bible, I believe it's Jeremiah 31 through 34. I want to bring it up. It says, behold, the days are coming, declares the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and house of Judah. The days are coming, declares the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah. So that's what 31:31 says. So it's basically saying that, we don't do that here. We don't do that as all people of God. We don't do that. Critical race theory incorrectly emphasizes intersectional categories such as gender, race, sexual preference, and economic status above and beyond a person's own choices and responsibilities. And that's not about a Bible. The Bible is not about tribalism. If you are one who confesses your sins and believe in the Savior Jesus Christ, you are amongst us all. We are all daughters and sons of the kingdom. It is not distinguished by black, white, red, yellow, blue, purple. Tribalistic is not of the Bible. Tribalism, I should say. It's not. And this whole idea within critical race theory, the way that it presents tribalism, and also it does not have an absolute truth. It's anti-truth, suggesting that one person is oppressed, the other is oppressed, is the oppressor, is anti-Bible. And that's what it is. And, you know, if she believes that we live in such a racist world, then why does she choose to be around the opposite race? You know, that's what I don't understand. I want to keep going here. Let me take it here. One more. All right.
Created racism where it doesn't exist and try to turn everyone into mini racists against each other, which has now manifested itself into a massive anti-white movement in our country, where I believe more than anything else, we should care about character, not skin color. Do you agree with that?
Okay.
It's not, I don't believe that you understand what I'm saying.
I don't understand what you're saying.
I don't agree with not, I'm sorry. Oh, it's not that I don't agree with, you know, what you just said, but you have to realize that Black people are like, white people are not being hunted after. Y'all can come here and live a great freaking life. Alabama is a safe haven. These PhD fraternities and sororities are a safe haven
You
for
think
white
you're
people.
being hunted?
Let me tell. Okay, y'all can laugh, but until you have walked as a Black person on this campus, y'all truly don't understand.
All right. So I am a Black person. In case you guys don't know, this is not paint. I am a Black person. I was born Black, unlike trans people that can change their gender, you know, every 5 minutes or every other minute. I cannot change this. I am a Black person. I was born Black. I cannot change it, nor do I want to change it. I don't know what homegirl is talking about. If anything, you want to talk about hunted in the streets, I do live in Baltimore City, which has probably one of the highest crime rates in the country, but the only people hunting in Baltimore City are Black people. You know, this is the dangerous place. I'd be much more safer in Alabama than I am on a Saturday night walking down the streets of Baltimore City. Okay. And that is a fact. You know, the crime rate in Baltimore City, Philadelphia, DC, all these areas that are right around here where I live is crazy. And it's much more dangerous for me as a female to walk down a street in Baltimore City than it would be for me in Alabama. And once again, she chose this university. She said she has multiple white friends. What is she talking about? If that was the case, then she should be dead by that. If she's surrounded by white people, you know, she has many white friends. How is she being hunted? This is what this wokeism, the CRT does. I mean, this girl, and you know what? I believe that she believes what she's saying. And that's the scary part, because they're so delusional, and they're this way due to a lot of these college campuses, mainstream media, Black culture, which constantly tries to tell Black people that we are being hunted, that there's no safe space for us. And it's just not the case. It's just not true. If anything, we're being hunted by other Black people, not white people. We're going to go on.
And I've gone to school with white people my whole life.
Okay.
So
but it's just,
I will end with this. You're not being hunted at the University of Alabama, and there is no boogeyman that's trying to get you.
It's not. You're making it seem.
You live in the least racist country in the history of the world.
You're in Alabama. You are literally in the place where it's not okay.
You mean the place that has given you more talking time than any other person here, and where they sit respectfully. You're supposed to shut me down and be like, go sit down? I mean, of course I'm going to talk to you. That would have happened 100 years ago. You're right. 100 years ago, you might not have been allowed to come into this room,
So
which would have been
bow to you because that's
which would have been evil. No, instead, we are here. We're creating a movement.
So you see what this girl she did not come here for any type of reconciliation or to build bridges or to learn. Now Charlie Kirk has said to her, he's explaining to her that, this is a safe space. You've been able to come in and spout this madness through your mask. You can barely breathe. You hear her breathing like Darth Vader. The girl can barely breathe, but she's been given a lot of time to spew this craziness. And he's just trying to, show her that 100 years ago, if it was like she is saying, now it was no way a room full of white people would have, had her do this. She would have gotten food thrown at her. She would have maybe gotten assaulted and all kinds of things. But here we are. She's in a room full of white people, and she hasn't had any of this done to her. Charlie Kirk is a Christian man. He's already said to her that he views her, so she said she was a Christian, as a brother, a sister in the kingdom, and she just doesn't want to hear it, guys. She just does not want to hear it. I want to go on here.
We never want to go back to the segregation that once existed in this country that is now being pushed by people in corporate America, in academia, and other places. We want to strive for a country that cares about character and the soul and the spirit of the individual, not on tribes, not on the melanin content in people's skin. And I will say this as compassionately as I can, is that you are not being hunted as a Black person in America. There's not a single statistic that affirms that. There's not a single data point. Instead, the opposite is true. We are the least racist, most accepting, multiracial country in the history of the planet. And I pray one day you'll be thankful to live in that country. Okay. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you.
Go sit down. Sit down. Go sit down. So, he told her the truth. It was just the truth. And he was a gentleman by doing it. Having the patience to even speak to this girl he should be given a medal. And honestly, if you really want to get down to it, she used the word hunted. She said Black people are getting hunted in the street. Honestly, it's the other way around. The statistics show that there are more Black people commit more crime and murder against white people than white people to Black people. You guys do the data. It's there. It's all there. So, this narrative that Black people are being hunted in the streets, in the way she was, the way she was juxtaposing it and I guess insinuating is that white people are hunting Black people. It's just not true. And if the closest thing to that would be the direct opposite, unfortunately. And let me tell you, as a Black American, I say this with utter shame. It's sad to say, because in America, Black people do make up a smaller proportion of the country and commit far more of the crime, of the murders. But this is what it is. Now there are, I believe that there are a lot of other things that go into that. One is because we have a large portion in our community of our homes are not two-parent households. Large portion of our community are fatherless homes. And I believe that does play a large role in why our communities have gone into chaos. Another thing is the secularization. Our communities have become much more secular. And so I believe that, because we are not, reading our Bibles, because we are not going and following God and the Bible, our communities are going into decay because of that. That's certainly a reason behind it. The Bible stipulates that our families the men should follow God and then the men should follow God, and then the men should lead the wife, and then the wife, and then they all lead the family. That's how it goes. And the whole thing is out of order right now. Men are not being led by God, and they're not leading the communities in the Black community. And we don't have enough time to go into why that's happening, but it is. And one reason I'll say is due to communism. And I've said this on this broadcast before. That is the playbook in the Communist Manifesto. That is their playbook. They want to remove God, remove religion from every facet of our lifestyles, and replace it with government. And not only do they want to do that, but they want to push propaganda, push Marxism within the education system from K to 12, from X and on up to the university. And guys, it does look like they are succeeding. They are succeeding in their goals. So this is all by design. This is all by design. They don't want us beholden to our Creator, because they know that God in the Bible teaches against tribalism, against this CRT and Marxism and DEI. All of it is anti-Bible. It preaches against that, and they want people not to be beholden to that. That's way they can creep in easier or more easily and push this whole Marxist CRT DEI situation. And unfortunately, it seems like the Black community is falling for it hook, line, and sinker. But I thank God for people like Charlie Kirk, because he spoke to her in a very respectful manner, and he laid it out at a very low level, but it was right where she should have been able to get it. But she didn't want to. She didn't want to get it. But he did his part. He explained it, and that's all you can do. That is all you can do. So again, this is anti-God. This is anti-Bible, this critical race theory, and we need to push back against it. I want to go to some of these comments. Hey, Krista. Oh, thanks so much for joining me tonight. It says Catholic Church should not be letting Biden take Holy Communion, in my opinion. Absolutely. I agree. I'm surprised Biden doesn't burst in flames when he enters churches. Exactly. Kevin Walker, Krista, it all started with LBJ and his war on poverty. Absolutely. This was the key. They wanted to get large amounts of Americans beholden to government, on the government tit, as I say, and where government becomes so large that it becomes God. And so right now, what they're trying to do is, have government start to create, transhumanism, and this whole idea of, male, females are no longer the fusion between robot and human, who creates this, who gets all the glory behind this? The government, because they want to make the government seem as if it is God. And that's where we're going. And that's why it's so important to hug our Bibles, daily reading of it. And guys, I said this last week, I am not the most well-versed person in the Bible, but every time I read, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's all here. It's all there. Everything. It's right there. All this woke nonsense, pushing it back against it. It's all in the Bible. Just start anywhere. Some people, it can be a little overwhelming, because you're like, oh, where do I start? Just pray before you do it. Ask God to guide you, and just open the book and start where your heart tells you, because that's the Holy Spirit telling you where to go, and you will be fine. You will be moved. You will learn something and come away with something.